Hello, everyone, and welcome to Osquery Office Hours. Here we are, coming into the December holiday season. I hope everyone has whatever plans make them happy. And welcome to Office Hours. Ooh, is this the last one of the year? It is. It's the last one of 2022. So ushering in 2023 shortly. Let's see. First item is announcements or highlights. I don't know that I have any announcements or highlights. Maybe we made 5.7.0 beta. I don't know if anyone else has any announcements or highlights. Okay, if not, moving on. The next agenda item is sort of an open time. If there's anything people in the community would like to discuss, now is the time for it. Hold a minute in case anyone wants to say something.
Looks like it's the usual crowd.
You know,
the inside circle.
I still hang out for a moment.
I'm consistent.
Consistently what?
Present.
No, it's not.
Yeah, you get the attendance award for sure.
Okay, sounds like nothing surprising showing up. Cool. Off to agenda items. First one someone wrote down was state of 5.7.0.
I think I wrote down all the agenda items. Sorry.
That's fine. So I haven't tested 5.7.0 at all. I'm not sure. Zach, have you looked at 5.7.0? Okay. Let's try and look at 5.7.0, and I don't know.
It's
Maybe
a
it can
small
go
release,
live.
right?
Are the binaries ready to go? Because I can push them out to our beta fleet, and I can run our automated tests.
They are
Yeah.
on the tag.
Okay.
Yeah, I just a moment ago I started trying to push them out, and is this my fault or Osquery's fault? I have not yet debugged it. Zach, you should see if they work for you. Do your scripts double check that they're all signed correctly before pushing them into your Tufts server?
No, I don't think they do.
Okay. I assume they are because we haven't changed code signing, so it's possible my script is broken on the Collide side.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't think we do any checking of the signatures.
Okay. Well, I will try and get them into the Collide beta pool real soon. And I assume you'll do the same.
Yep, we'll do. If was it a while ago that those were published? Because I didn't realize that. And if so, if whenever someone pushes one of those versions, if you can send a message or tag me or something, then I can be aware to get it pushed out.
Yeah, I think we decided to cut the release at the last minute, and I pushed some buttons, but I probably didn't send any Slack messages. Maybe we could automate that.
Sure. Yeah, or I mean, and I'm happy to do it now. Like it's all good.
Yeah, I don't. It would probably be worth thinking about automating a Slack notification. You and I, independently representing our company's DevOps tooling chains, should possibly also think about automating pushes out to the beta fleets. But you know, you can make that judgment call yourself. So if we're going to push that out to beta in the next few days, maybe we can go to live next week, or maybe we should just wait till next year. Mike, did you have a strong reason to want to get it into production soon, or just general get it done?
Just getting my affairs in order for the end of the year. But yeah, end of the years are arbitrary. So if it takes longer, then it takes what it takes.
I mean, I think from our perspective, we can get that testing done. It's pretty minimal effort on our part. Like we just do the push, and then our automated tests run nightly, and then all our beta devices get it, and we just see if they're still working as expected. I don't think we would, regardless of whether we mark it stable or not, I don't think we're going to push a new version between Christmas and New Year's to anyone who's getting auto updates from us. So it doesn't matter to me whether we do it before or after the year. I'm fine to do it before the year if that's important to folks.
There's a good argument there for not marking new releases if people auto deploy anything.
Okay, so let's assume we'll mark it stable in January.
Alrighty.
Okay, PRs that we should get merged. 7692 secure boot.
Yeah, that's a Trail of Bits PR to put Secure Boot on macOS. It was a while ago that we started this. There was some feedback that never got addressed, and I've been trying to address it, and I think I addressed it, and I wanted to see if this was a good opportunity to get approvals.
I think this one is also limited to x86 support.
Yeah,
so
the idea is that on the most recent Intel boards, so 2018 to 2021 or whenever the last Intel machine was made, they can report a secure mode feature, and then after that they just don't report a result.
I don't have any problem merging this. I haven't really looked at the code recently. Does anyone want to look at the code particularly? If not, I mean, I don't know. It's written by people who we approve code from, so
I think
What's
everybody
the
on
number?
the trail, everybody from Trail of Bits on the call has looked at it now. PR is in the agenda notes. Hold on.
okay. I just read the code. I approved it.
Okay, 7692. All right. Well, I won't belabor it. Sounds like it's approved. We can move on.
It sounds like we're good to go. I won't look then.
So much more to do. Thanks, Seth.
Sure. The next one is sort of tricky, and I don't know the state of this one. So to remind folks, this is about sort of a disk encryption table, has some weird stuff. I don't understand if this PR fixes the underlying issues. So I think I've kind of been a little unsure. This is PR 7382.
We recently had a report, and I think it was opened, was it from a fleet engineer about this?
So it's related. Artemis opened a report talking about how if you have an encrypted disk and then LVM sits on top of it, LVM will Osquery does not correctly report it as encrypted. I did a bunch of tinkering around this like a year ago or something, and there's all because of the way LVM and LUX work together, you can sort of put LUX on top of LVM or LVM on top of LUX or LUX on top of LVM on top of LUX on top of LVM. And there's like all these weird corners, and Osquery definitely does not correctly detect them all. I do not know if this PR fixes all of them, some of them, or none of them. So I kind of don't know how to review it because I don't have that test environment set up anymore.
I can try to look over it. I'm currently working on a fleet issue, like in the fleet code. But I was the one who originally reported the issue.
You most recently reported it, but it looks
Yes.
like other people have had similar related issues. And this
Yeah.
PR was from 2021, and if it at least helps, or if it's a valid fix to part of the problem, I would say great
Yeah.
to reprove it.
Yeah. LVM is a bit weird. Like, it's technically possible that you could have like a disk where you could have an LVM volume that's split across 2 disks where one of them is encrypted and one of them isn't. It's
Well, that's
but like
the point
that's
of LVM. Yeah.
yeah, that's not something I've ever seen happen. And I suspect that if someone's doing something like that, they can expect that we won't deal with it correctly.
Boy, that's an interesting corner case. If your data were striped and it was half encrypted, that might be okay. But if you were using LVM in append mode, it would be much less okay.
You could use like have it say like if it's striped, just have every other letter encrypted in their response.
You can also have all kinds of combination. Like recently, they also asked if we could report a ZFS encryption, and also ZFS can create like logical volumes on top of different disks that might be, and those disks or even just mounted point, which could provide the disk already encrypted in some way due to using another file system. So you can
at this point, this is so complicated that like if LVM normal like Lux on LVM is very common, but any of these other things, I just don't care. Who the hell is going to be doing this and thinks that we'll be doing it that we'll be giving a correct response?
Okay, so just to maybe loop back, Artemis, you said you could maybe take a look at this PR?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna tag you on it. I assume you just have the obvious GitHub.
Yeah, I can look over the code.
Yes, you do. Okay, great. You've been tagged there, and since the ZFS came up, if I remember the ZFS ticket correctly, we can't statically link to ZFS probably because of licensing, so we'd have to figure out the dynamic loading the same way we do on macOS, and I don't know if we can even do that. Right, we'd have to look to see if the ZFS library was on disk, and if so, link it, call out to it, and if not, not. I don't know how important that is to anyone.
I guess you could also just screen scrape the response of like a ZFS show, but I don't love that.
Osquery would not do that. Shelling out from Osquery feels bad. Launcher does that. So Launcher actually has some exec-based tables that call zpool and ZFS to get the encryption status. For Launcher, I can do that. For Osquery, we don't like doing that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I don't know if you've got people asking for ZFS, so it may not be that important that we try and come up with dynamic loading on Linux. That's our agenda. We've got some standing items. Take a look at our standing items. What's going on with security things? We have 14 open tickets.
So all the tickets, all the CVE issues have been like reviewed in the sense that I've decided if they are affecting Osquery or not. Most of them are not. There are a couple which are. So for CVE for libxml2 states that there's an issue when parsing libxml that can cause logic errors, and at least a double free has been found. And in Osquery, we would be able to trigger that through the OGS table. And so that would mean through the OGS table parsing and OGS lenses parsing an XML file. So that might cause various issues, from Osquery crashing to possibly someone exploiting the issues. Not all the issues possible are listed. It was not done an in-depth like audit of the issue, not from us and not from upstream, but yeah. But anyway, the libxml2 library has been updated. There is a commit that updates libxml. This is though for the future Osquery, so Osquery 5.8. The other thing that was affecting us, that is still affecting us, is a CV in util Linux, in the util Linux libraries. These are very old libraries, which I am updating, but it's taking quite a while. But anyway, the CV is affecting the block devices table. I think it's not that likely, but still, basically, if there is a partition, that DOS partition, which is maliciously crafted, you can cause excessive memory consumption, and so basically a denial of service by possibly crashing Osquery, or actually causing the watchdog to kill Osquery. And so, yeah, the only way I would see that happening is that you have someone attaching physically USB, or yes, USB something, which with that DOS partition, and then you run the query on block devices table, or that partition somehow is created, but then you on the system, but then you would have. You would have to have root permissions. But yeah, at least I am targeting 5.8 for those fixes.
Okay. I think I was just gonna say, it doesn't sound like we've missed anything, right? Like you're paying attention and it's worked, and thank you. So I think the only intent is just to make sure we're not like nothing new showed up that surprises anyone, or that merits a big discussion, right? So awesome. I guess the other standing agenda item that we haven't gotten to in ages is looking at old PRs. People want to do that, or we want to take half an hour back?
We have some PRs that have not been reviewed at all. Can we triage to the easiest ones?
You got a suggestion?
I had to be choosy, and I already put down 2, but I'll let anybody else nominate. Oh, you know what's the easy one is my thrift dependency update.
Stefano, do you like it?
He's reserving judgment.
Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I mean, I haven't looked at it.
You had comments before.
Yeah, but I know I did comments when not everything was there. I see that. Okay, I see that is additional steps to configure. Okay, cool. To configure CentOS 6. Yeah, on the note, actually, we said that we wanted to drop CentOS 6 eventually, and maybe we wanted to connect it to updating the Osquery toolchain. Though that task is it's a bit big, because when we update the toolchain, we would also have to reconfigure all the libraries altogether, and that takes quite a lot of time. So maybe there is maybe we can start thinking of, if we have to update a new library for whatever reason, we don't do it anymore on CentOS 6, so we start dropping the CentOS 6 support before updating the Osquery toolchain itself.
So what would that look
But yeah.
like? That would mean that like Osquery would stop working with CentOS 6 or just get real weird?
No, well, it will. So for this very first pass, it would get real weird because we would still compile it with the old toolchain, which has support with the symbols for the old glibc. The cutoff would happen with with updating the toolchain itself. And most likely the issue is around kernel system calls, which I don't know, maybe like get random or other things that may appear through via glibc, which maybe they were already present. Actually, no, they were already present as kernel. But anyway, any syscall that new syscall that appears in CentOS 7 and misses on CentOS 6 might cause a crash on CentOS 6 if you happen to hit the table that calls that syscall.
Mm-hmm. Would that be true if does anyone run a newer kernel on CentOS 6?
No. Well, wait, sorry. Oh, yeah. If we do the update and they use a newer kernel, it should not update. It should work.
Just wondering, like anyone who's still running CentOS 6 may have stuck a new kernel on it because they're already weird. So
yeah.
By definition, they're freaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, going back to the PR. So well, thanks for the documentation. I think it looks good. Otherwise, maybe. So I don't want. I know I'm being picky. I recall. So I recently discovered that we were incorrectly. So our toolchain.cmake file was incorrect, meaning it was asking the compiler, or better the linker, to search libraries for static libraries, or actually to not search for static libraries. And this, while it was not causing any issue to the Osquery build itself, we have instruction with some third-party libraries that you should integrate the Osquery toolchain logic into the CMake build system of the third-party library, and doing that by using directly all the logic from the Osquery toolchain file causes an issue and an incorrect discovery of functionality in the third-party library. In like most of them, maybe you don't have any error and you don't notice, but the config file outputted is incorrect. I noticed it on I don't recall, maybe libarchive, when I was configuring it, and it was definitely changing what it was detecting in there. So I wanted to do to try to rerun, at least on Linux once, the Drift third-party build system to see if there was any change.
Okay.
And if not,
I'm not putting you on the spot. Go ahead and make your verification if you need to. I think my intent here was that this library didn't need, like from CVE's perspective, it didn't need an immediate update, but I wanted to test the process since we do rely entirely on Stefano for these updates to third-party dependencies. So I wanted to make sure that it was possible for someone else to get through it, and whatever we didn't have documented, that we would document those things. So what you've just explained, if it's a long-term change that needs to be done to our process, then we could make a backlog to issue. Or if it's something that you just need to verify, I'm perfectly okay with you doing that.
Yeah, it's just a thing I have to verify because it just happened in the last days, and the fix is already merged upstream. I just need to recheck. As I said, while I was updating the libarchive library, I noticed this. So.
Okay.
From now on, if you use the latest Osquery toolchain file, the code there is already correct. So you would not incur in that issue.
Gotcha.
But yeah, otherwise, I mean, the PR itself seems fine. So really, there will be only that verification done.
Cool.
Got another PR, just skimming down the PR list. Zach, Artemis, this might be a better one for you two. Someone adding Docker, adding cached memory to Docker container stats. This looks like a tiny PR just exposing a field. Does that sound like something either of you would have an opinion about?
I can probably look at it.
I'll tag you on it.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, same here. I mean, if they're just exposing more data that's coming out of the Docker API and the code looks correct, then
I mean, I don't.
Me.
Yeah, it's like a 5-line PR. I tagged you both on it.
Cool.
Maybe the question there is always the range, like how I haven't looked at it, how the code reacts when some of those statistics are missing, and if those statistics are present in all the versions of Docker we might find, because yeah, like I suppose from CentOS 7 and on, whatever you can install there.
I mean, as long like I have no problem returning
whatever.
null or zero data. Like,
yeah, I'm just saying, unless it crashes because it's not properly addressed by the code. I don't know. Yeah.
There was sort of an interesting thing that someone filed a little while ago about let's see, I'm looking at PR 7801. This change sets the diff counter to 0 when all records are being logged as part of the initial run or new epoch. So how do we feel about that?
Uninformed, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like, at least from my point of view, there are quite a bit of scenarios to think about that. I mean, what the change, just reading it when I read it briefly, seems interesting. But sorry,
they filed a blueprint issue as well.
Is that the thing that someone from Figma came to discuss in the office hours a few months ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, Zach.
I wonder if we have notes about what we decided there.
I think we decided that it sounded mostly reasonable and they should go file a blueprint issue.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't seem unreasonable to me. And I feel like I can't quite. I feel like there was a point in time when I thought very hard about this, and that point in time was years ago. So now it's kind of out of my head, and this feels vaguely in keeping with that. It's sort of like we have these diff streams, and then when you increment the epoch, what should happen to the diff stream? You know, you kind of want the initial part of the diff stream should sort of look like a snapshot, right? Because you've reset the epoch. So I think they're just setting counter 0 to be reserved for that initial periodic snapshot on epoch change, which sounds reasonable to me.
Sounds reasonable to me. We aren't using those to reconstruct state or anything like that. I know that that's something that has been folks have talked about doing, and it seems like this improves that. But if you're relying on some sort of behavior of the old version, then yeah, maybe that's going to mess you up.
Yeah, Collide's not using diffs either, and similarly, like we talk about it occasionally, and we've just never completed that migration. Well, they added a previous epoch. That's interesting. Maybe. Well, none of us sound like we're excited to think hard about this right now. So you can put that rock down.
It's difficult because it changes flow of the code, and yeah, while the idea might be interesting, again, the implementation and the details are the devil. Meaning, again, since it touches the database, and there might I have no idea, so there might be locks around, and and the flow again of the code is changed. Has to be closely tested, I think.
How would we test that?
Well, the only way we can, which means basically manually. Well, my testing meaning I take time to go through the code and understand how it was intended to work previously, and look at it now, what it changed, what are all the possible change in code flow, etc.
It doesn't look that scary. Maybe I'm optimistic. Yeah. Because like the other thing is Collide touched this code a little while ago. We like changed the counter to be, we changed the counter behavior, and no one really had strong views about it. Because I think the sort of commitment Osquery has made is that counter increments. We've never really defined what anything means there. So somewhat, if anyone is building things with assumptions on those numbers, it's a little dicey. So if I look at this, right, I see a little bit of variable renames. I do see like it. I don't know. Like it does change. It does add a little bit of control flow, but like it doesn't feel that scary. It doesn't feel like it's like fundamentally changing database initialization or something.
Yeah, I was looking at more at it now. Yeah. Yeah.
Guess reading this, I maybe feel like it should end up documenting what 0 means if we do that.
Yeah, some documentation on the wiki. Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I think I'm okay with it. Other than that, so
I'm okay with it as well.
okay. I just commented asking for docs. If this person is gone, then maybe we'll have to do that. Since I don't know, it seems worth merging this at some point if no one has any major issues. Other
I
PRs?
would at least test it and see if it does. What I mean, at least someone I think should test and see if it does what's intended.
I suppose.
Well, I know I'm being, but yeah. Anyway,
It's not wrong. Um, I don't know if there's anything else here I really want to talk about. Um, I'm I'm going to propose we close a giant PR from Teddy from a year ago.
Poor Teddy.
Maybe. I guess it's not that giant.
SQLite SDK one.
Yeah, isolate the internal SQLite plugin to a library 7374. Stefan, does that mean anything to you?
well, I mean, all the PRs I had a look at them some time in the past, but yeah, I did not review it. And at the same time, I mean, what he's saying seems problematic, although it at the same time it can be like if you're not doing that, if you're not using the SQLite plugin class via extension, there's no issue basically. Also, Teddy was saying that this is a hard to exercise scenario. I mean, I think it's interesting to have. I don't think it's high priority though.
I mean, it might be interesting to have, but the PR isn't mergeable and Teddy is not showing up. So
we can, well, if we accept, I mean, we can still push, given that the branch is there, and I think that it did not disable the maintainer access. I think we can update it by pushing commits on that. But we obviously, if we don't want to, merge something with his name.
I mean, I'm happy to give him credit. I'm mostly in the cleaning up backlog stuff. Obviously,
but I mean,
no one looked in a year.
Yeah.
Maybe an even easier one, 7604. What do people think of 7604? One line change in Windows exit codes.
Oh.
I thought it was probably okay. If someone's checking those exit
CLA
codes,
is not signed though.
I see.
Oh, that's a bummer.
I think we should just have a new label like we have ready for review and needs response, like needs CLA, so that's easy to filter out.
Honestly, I never look at that, so.
You never look at labels?
Not really.
I like the label.
Super helpful. Yeah, that's helpful too.
I believe you both can create labels.
Okay, I'm on it. I'll create a label.
I wonder if we can just clean room re-implement this and close the PR.
You could ask them nicely to sign the CLA.
I asked them on June 10th.
Okay, then that's what we should do next.
Yeah, given the nature of this particular change, I don't feel too worried about how clean a clean room re-implementation is. So
Yeah, it's so small that there's only basically one way to do this.
yeah, I just I don't think we can merge this PR. So
Yeah.
what other old and interesting things do we have?
I created that label, Charvel.
Awesome, thanks.
7435. That one's kind of interesting.
Is that on page 2? Let me look at that. There it is. Clear cache constraints and columns in
Yeah.
X best index. 2-line change.
Yeah, but yeah. I would really want to test this. Like, yeah, it's a two-line change, but in a pretty important place. I mean, generally it makes sense. I'm just wondering if the I don't know if there is any combination where you can add defected table, but it's not initialized. I mean, it's C++. Unfortunately, there are so many things that can happen, and also the code is not streamlined, easy. Yeah.
It's from a contributor who's generally done good work, right? This isn't
Yeah.
an unknown party.
This seems to be fixing a memory leak that's perhaps existed for years.
Yeah.
Is this a significant memory leak?
It's like it only affects people that use the explain keyword in SQL.
Someone commented on the PR saying that they've seen it with get query tables, which they say is called every time the config is updated for scheduled queries.
That could be tested.
And I thought
That might
explain
be-
and plan could only be used in Osquery I, but maybe I'm wrong.
Scheduled queries, if it affects those, would be also in the daemon.
Yeah.
So I asked in the PR who knows the most about SQL and the core functionality. Is that Stefan now?
I can, yeah, I can get a look at it.
I'll just put you on a review list.
I'm just trying to make one for that Windows exit code. And it looks like I cannot do it from the GitHub UI. So okay, I'll do that from a real computer. Okay, and Stefano, you were gonna peek at 7435. It sounds like.
You can't do it from the GitHub UI?
Not without committing the branch to Osquery.
Oh, yeah, right.
I'm running it. So
You can't go to your fork.
Yeah, it won't let me save it to my fork, and if I do it on my fork, then it's not rebased.
Yeah, makes sense.
It doesn't make sense, but whatever. I'm not going to fix it.
Doesn't make sense, but familiar scenario.
Yeah. And any other PRs or things people want to bring up? Otherwise, I say we take 10 minutes and go and attempt to look at the various things we've all been voluntold to look at.
Have a good day.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a good December and a great new year. And yeah, see you in 2023.
Okay.
Oh, Happy New Year.
Thank
y'all.
you. You
Happy
too.
holidays.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.